What's up, beautiful people? I'm currently trying to finish this watermelon here because I am going to
Wuhan Tianhe International Airport, and I am super excited to show you guys. In the next few days, we are going to explore some of Wuhan's very famous ancient architecture, as well as its super beautiful scenic beauty.
It's amazing.
And I'm super excited to show you the city that's been transformed drastically in 4 years. So it's been about a 30-minute ride on the car. And on the screen now, I'm going to show you guys a bit about the city view. Wuhan is a city that I've never been to, but I've always been very excited to visit because of the geographical location, it being one of the most central parts of China. And not only that, but it's more about the heritage and culture. And another thing is the natural beauty of it. And just through this 30 minutes, I've already seen so many of the sort of lakes and rivers of Wuhan. It's very, like, if you look on the map, there's so many waters surrounding this beautiful, beautiful city. And what I've noticed first that's very different to some other Chinese cities is that the residential buildings are much, much, much taller than places like Shanghai or Beijing. This is the first thing I've noticed. It's more similar to like Hong Kong, where, you know, the residential buildings go up like 50 stories. It's very vibrant and bustling, but overall the scenery is great. It's very, very hot, and you know, as I've been told, that Wuhan is one of those cities that's very hot throughout the year. But alas, I'm very excited to try out all the delicacies and see the natural beauty of this phenomenal city. I am at the Wuhan suspended monorail, and this might just be what the future looks like. I'm really looking forward to this because I'm one of those people that really love technology, and to see something like this, it's gonna be super cool. So it's supposedly fully autonomous, and it's suspended about 4 or 5 stories above the ground.
From the moment you get into the monorail, you feel as if this shouldn't exist. A train run on magnets hung up in the sky. The cabin itself was super futuristic, and the tech is just simply unbelievable. This is so cool because it's about 5 or 6 stories high, and it's much faster than I expected it to be. So I can see that it's just like, it's actually a bit scary, you know? It's moving so quickly, because on the outside I was thinking, and it wasn't really that fast. But although this magnetic levitation train gives us a glimpse into the future, I will now show you something that is being rapidly implemented in China: fully autonomous driving. Okay, so we've ordered a
萝卜快跑.
luo kuai pao, which luo means like radish, but it's gonna be interesting. Okay, so it's about 5 minutes away. Like everything in China, you order this on an app, and then they have the vehicle information on there. I'll show you guys how we get onto it. 大家会过来吗？行了吗？ Okay, and here we are super excited. So this is our vehicle, and then if we come over here, you can see you have the screen here, and then what you do is you put in the digits of your cell phone number, the last 4 digits, and then we can see here the door opens. How cool is that, right? And this is a first time for me, so this is going to be really, really interesting. So it's completely driverless. The screen says, I'm just press this, and wow, okay.
Wow.
This is crazy. Okay, so the car is driving very safely right now, so I'm very interested to see how it maneuvers around. Right in front of us, we have like a dumpster truck of sorts, and it wasn't driving like very conventionally. So it kind of like did this maneuver where it moved around it. And then not only that, there's a lot of other extra features here on the 2 screens for the passengers. So from here, we can kind of see the route that we're going to take and how we're going to get there. It goes up, fully responsive. Yeah, you can see the the UI and everything is very quick. But not only that, we can kind of see what the car is seeing as well. So it actually recognized that that was what it's trying to do, is it trying to maneuver. There's a car behind us to the left there, and it moved by. That's so interesting. It's one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And you can kind of see the speed here. We're not really going at super slow speeds. It knows exactly which lane kind of to take. We have music. And then here there's also some like quick videos that we can see and swipe through. Just more like introduction videos, or we can change the aircon, change the fan speed. The thing that's really surprised me the most about this is that this is very legit. It's not just some futuristic technology to show off, but it's implemented in a very big area of Wuhan, like a really big area. It wasn't really that easy to get on compared to your Didi and hailing apps, but it's definitely convenient enough. You can find where these cars can stop, and you can find where you can get on. Everything was very smooth, seamlessly. The car kind of stopped where it should be, and there's lots of drop-off points as well. Albeit it's not really as convenient as like a human driver, but my experience so far, I've been on this vehicle for about 10 minutes, and to no fault, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And there's lots of other questions that arises from this. What will happen to conventional taxis when this becomes fully implemented? Compared to pricing, this is actually cheaper, because a lot of the price of a conventional car is not the car itself, it's not the driving, it's not the petrol, it's not the electricity, but it's the driver, right? It's a service. And with this, it removes the service, so this is going to be the future. And after exploring the futuristic side of Wuhan, we finally checked into our hotel, a real gem that offered incredible value. For just under $100, we got a room with decor that felt like East meets West, a classy Western style with a definite Chinese twist. The view was also really good, and we could see the city with a population of 14 million people. But when it comes to exploring the city, I'm still a bit old-fashioned. And this is one of the best ways to travel between the city if you want to explore. It's about 50 RMB, and you can rent one of these e-bikes for the entire day, for 24 hours. Although you do need a mainland ID, but even then it's just super cool that there's this option to use this to travel. Everything was seamless. There's lots of places where I can just return it. And so yeah, we continue our adventure. So far, we've shown you the futuristic side of Wuhan, but now we want to show you something that's a little bit more scenic. Welcome to Dongpu, or better known as in English, East Lake. We've just arrived about 20 minutes, and wow, I've been to a lot of lakes in China, but this is one of the bigger ones. I'll put up the exact stats somewhere here, and just exactly about how big it is compared to some of the bigger rivers in China. And what I really like about this place is that there's a place where you can kind of sit and take in the scenery. It's just about an hour and a half away from sunset. The lake is very big, very, very big, all the way. The water is super clean. I haven't spotted a single piece of litter so far, which is great. I love it when nature is kept clean. I think it's a mixture of both. The people here, they try to respect this place, and also there's a lot of people that are working here, a lot of staff that work here to try to keep the place clean. And yeah, so East Lake is definitely one of those places where you have to come. You come here, you just kind of take in the real essence of Wuhan. East Lake is China's largest urban lake, even outshining West Lake over in Hangzhou. And yes, the locals, my girlfriend Georgina especially, will remind you of that very proudly. This lake has a certain charm that once drew in poets and scholars, and now even curious travelers like me. As the sun began to set, the lake really transformed. The light softened, and suddenly everything turned into shades of orange and purple. It was as if nature had flipped a switch to cinematic mode. And let's not forget the locals of a furrier variety. The place is filled with adorable cats lounging around as if they own it. So here it is. A little montage from Dongpu, a place that's part nature retreat, part cat kingdom,
and 100% unforgettable. We are at the BaoTong Temple, which is one of 4 of Wuhan's major temples. So this is a Buddhist temple, and I've just arrived. This temple behind me is 1,500 years old, and directly on the opposite side, we've got this massive shopping mall. It's advertised as one of Asia's biggest shopping malls. It's crazy big, and inside it has almost a few hundred different stores from restaurants and all sorts. So I'm very excited to see this temple, and I'm looking forward to going inside and seeing how it is and showing you guys what it's like. What is going on here is that the day that I'm here in Wuhan is actually one of you could think of it as Chinese Halloween, just except the drinking, partying and dressing up. It's actually more of a day to kind of remember those that have left us. And what you can see here now is that there's a lot of people today. They have these paper folded up into the shape of what we call a yuanbao, which is more like a fortune. It's kind of sort of money. And what these people are doing behind me right now is that they're kind of sending this money to their ancestors. And it's just a way to remember them and kind of just give themselves some self-closure, just to say that, I hope you guys are doing well on that side. And yeah, so there's lots of people today. What they also do is they write some things onto the paper as well, just like a quick message. Some of them also say to oversee them and to just to wish the living a very fortunate and very happy life, safe, and just some prosperity, good health, good wealth. It's very interesting to come to this temple at this time of year to just see this sort of phenomenon. Normally these things would happen during Qingming, but to come on a day like this and to see so many people honoring their ancestors, especially in a day and age where I didn't expect that many young people to be here, because it's more of the elderly that keeps to the traditions. The young people don't really have this kind of traditions anymore, but it's just really good to see that these kind of traditions are being passed along. Just at this party, I'm taking a video of these little turtles. Okay, let us continue up. This temple isn't only one temple, it's a mixture of many different temples built over time. So there's the Buddhist Scriptures Hall, the Jade Buddha Hall, the Great Buddha Hall, and the Matriarch Hall. So as I know the pagoda is the most recent one, and even that was built a few hundred years ago. But the first temple that was built here spans back 1,500 years ago. I'm under one of the many trees in the temple, and all these trees, they're kind of I wouldn't say filled, but there's a lot of these, you see there's a lot of these red strips around here. What these are is a lot of people will kind of have some good fortune wishings, and they kind of pray, and then they tie these red strips onto the trees and just praying or wishing for a bit of luck and fortune, whether it's in their job, for health, or for the children, or for their family members. Whenever you come to these places, you kind of just feel very calm. There's some sort of energy, if you could believe that. Yeah, maybe it's the essence that's burning, maybe it's the decoration, maybe it's because people are a bit more respectful when they come to these places. Regardless, I just feel so relaxed. What they are doing in this place is they're kind of teaching Buddhism. What I'm actually filming right now is that, look at this, it's so awesome to see this. It's just behind the temples as a backdrop, we kind of see these super high-rise residential buildings. But just in front, just across the road, we see one of Wuhan's biggest shopping malls. Whilst I climb another flight of stairs. I'm so happy the pagoda preserved its original form. They haven't really renovated it. This is what I was really looking forward to. And the reason why I chose one of the, I think you would call this lesser known out of the bigger temples, especially Huanghelou, the yellow crane tower. It's a must visit, but it's more of a tourist attraction. So this is called the Hongshan Pagoda, and it was built in the Yuan dynasty, specifically the year 1291. I've really spent quite a bit of time at the pagoda here because for me, this is so special and unique. To see the other temples and the beautiful architecture, it's almost too meticulous. It doesn't feel real. But this, to me, it's the kind of thing that I know it's been here for so long and it's withstood the test of time. I've spent a lot of time here. It's really
It's really special just to see this kind of thing. Really special. I'm currently at Liangdao Jie or Liangdao Street in the Wuchang area of Wuhan. And this street you will see right now is super famous for its street food. And most importantly, its breakfast culture. Wuhan is super well known. Maybe it's because of the climate, maybe because of its people. The people here love to have breakfast. My goodness, this street is full of it. We found so many different things that I want to try. And some are very iconic, and some, like most Chinese cities, that you can find them, it's very touristy as well. But this street is much better than some of the other streets in Wuhan that I've been to. According to locals, this is probably where it's the least touristy and it's the most local tasting and still very traditional. So I'm very excited to show you guys this place. I want to say, look at some of the buildings in this area. So the places that I've been staying so far, they've been relatively new. And you know, for me, my first impression of Wuhan is that it's got a lot of skyscrapers. It's very developed, which it is. It's very developed. But this area, it's very, it feels like a tier 3 or 4 city, whereby it's very local and homely. There's a lot of liveliness, you know. Like here we've got like a supermarket, and it's just still, you can see like old people that are still in this area. And compared to where I've been, it's just like young people, companies, corporations. But yeah, so far this area, I'm really liking it. It's very, very traditional. It just feels like home, you know. I see some of these buildings here, and it's just very old. For me, this is what I want to see in China. Just crossing the road. Yeah, so yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. But without further ado, let's go into some of the smaller street corners and then try some of the very famous street food that's available here. There's Mexican tacos here. I didn't expect that. On the street where it's full of like traditional Wuhan cuisine, and I find a place that sells Mexican tacos. It just shows that China's very diverse. And here we are. It's called like Bear Old Granny. If you guys want to know, it's Xiong Taipo, and it sells dumplings. So let's go in and check it out. And here we are at another place where it sells these lovely, it's more akin to a wonton, but it's actually, they call it a dumpling here. And it's braised in this broth, which looks very special. They first add a lot of spices, they add the scallion into the broth, and it looks super good. I can already see, I smell there's a bit of black pepper into it, and I'm super excited to try it out. You can also add some chili oil and vinegar into it. So I just want to try the original one first. And for me, I think it's more like a wonton, but wow, it's super soft. I love the texture of it. The one thing that I think I really love about Wuhan street food is that the texture is super good. This was super soft. I wouldn't say it melted on my tongue, but it was just a very pleasant culinary experience of it. And not only that, but the taste was very good. The meat inside was super, super tender, super tasty, and wow, it's definitely a good thing to try. Okay, next up we've got this. It's more like they call it a su jiao, which translated is called like a crispy dumpling, which I don't know if it has much to do with, you know, the conventional form of the conventional type of dumplings, but let's see if we can get it just in focus there. But basically what I gathered, it's kind of like they deep fry this, and there's some sort of, it's more hollow, and you can see on the outside it's super crispy, but on the inside it's got like a very soft, gooey texture to it. And on the outside they wrap like a bit of sugar coating and cinnamon coating on top. So it's more, you can treat it as a breakfast snack or more like a street food delicacy, but regardless, I'm excited to try this out. It's very crispy, super crispy and super sweet actually. It's very sweet. The taste is very weird because I don't know how to describe it. It's like sweet oil. It's very oily, And you can definitely taste a bit of like the greasy oil, but it's not anything too unpleasant. But despite that, it's just very sweet. It's like sugary sweet. Think of it like a cinnamon donut, but without the cinnamon, just the sugar.
And after that, we went to try out some of Wuhan's signature breakfast dishes, 热干面 and 豆皮.
We're gonna try this xiaomai. And what it really is, it's just like sticky rice. So far the texture looks very good, it's very soft, but on the outside I can see the flour that's covering it is very thin. So I'm really interested to try it, but even this and the doupi, it's just a lot of carbs. But let's see how it tastes. There's a very unique taste to it. Wow, I don't know how to say it. It's like spicy, but it's got like a little bit of pepper on it. But it's not like a traditional sense of pepper in the sense that it's not as salty, but it's very flavorful. It's got that like peppery bite to it, but at the same time, it's just really tasty. But just inside the sticky rice mixed with the I don't know what kind of salt they use, but the flavoring to it is just really unique. It's like a bit of wasabi, a bit of pepper, a bit of mustard, that kind of like tangy taste to it. And yeah, so texture awesome, taste awesome, just a lot of carbs. So here we are, another one of the staples, which is a lot of rice covered on a bit of like an egg, some bit of vegetables, some tofu. This is meant to be super crispy on the outside because of the egg. And then the sticky rice just gives it like a very good contrast to it. This just came out from the pan and yeah, tastes a lot better.
After being carbo loaded, there's just one last dish that I have to try, and it's the super famous
热干面, which is roughly translated as hot dry noodle. You know, I've had a lot of noodles in my life, but this is definitely one of the more special ones, because you know, when I always heard about noodles, I always think it's going to be like more dry, and even though this is served dry, it's actually not as, you know, like how do I say it? It's not as dry as you'd imagine it to be. It's still very savory and very tasteful, and they've got like I think it's like vegetables, like pickles almost, but that gives it a very like sour and sour taste to it. Very good, very pungent, and overall the taste is, you know, from the texture and the taste, it's amazing. And also the spiciness, there's a bit of a spiciness to it, and it's really, really good.
After that incredible breakfast, I can't wait to show you how Georgina and I ate 100 lobsters for dinner. But before that, let me give you a glimpse into Wuhan's nightlife. Think of epic riverside views, the lights of the city skyline, and a vibrant energy that just doesn't quit. This city really does come alive at night, and it's an experience that you have to see to believe.
Okay, and our adventure continues. So what this is, it's actually the stem of the lotus. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's like a string. I'm getting ready for the lobster here, and they've provided us with gloves actually. So I'm fully kitted out. I've got the apron and got my gloves. Okay, and let's try it out. So this restaurant, they're very famous because they steam the lobster. Super cool. And then we've got the meat there. That's it. Oh, super juicy. They've kindly provided us with different sauces. Just dip it nice and thorough in there. Okay, let's see how it tastes. Yeah. 海底蟑螂啦。